This video is about what's called a ditch bag, get out of Dodge bag, or get home bag. Some people even call it a BOE, or bag of evil. The bag itself has what I feel I need to be able to deal with a situation for a day or so, whether or not I'm stuck in a given situation or need to walk home, say. It has all the basics I feel I need to stick around a given situation if I have to be there for several days also. It all depends on how much food and water I have at my disposal at any given time. It's usually in the trunk of my car, it's in a storage box in my side-by-side, or I take it in with me and it goes in the locker at work. When it's at work, there's no weapons in it or anything like that, since they have a ban against such things. So I add and delete to it as I need for any given situation. The bag itself weighs about 18 pounds, and a lot of people would say that's way too much weight, but when you see what's in there, you'll understand why. That weight, by the way, is without water or any kind of weapons. The bag itself is a Pygmy Falcon 2. I've tried many different bags. Some are just too big or just way too small. It seems to be the compromise fit for me. When you think about what kind of bag you want to make up for yourself, you have to determine what you need for anything you might encounter. You want to make it flexible enough that you can add and subtract items depending on any given situation. A correct loadout is important because you really need to be able to deal with any given situation. Now, some people may think it's paranoid to have such a thing. I can tell you it's been very useful, and actually it's been more useful for other people because of the medical I carry in it. I've never had to use it on myself, but I actually have had to use it on other people. And of course, the most valuable thing you may need is the thing you don't have. I know of people who have died for lack of just a space blanket from exposure. So you want to be able to figure out on a piece of paper what you need and load it out accordingly. There's a lot of people out there who made a lot of videos on what you must have. All I can say is take it all with suggestions. Take my video as only a suggestion. You need to custom tailor to your given environment. So with that said, let me go ahead and start breaking it down for you so you can see what's in my, what I call, get out of Dodge bag. Okay, first thing I'll say is that apologies for any background noise. It's a warm day. I've got the doors open. You might hear people driving by. Okay, so this is the Pygmy Falcon 2. It has bottle holders on either side. A 1 liter Nalgene is what I normally carry in this pocket. And this pocket I just put things in that I would normally just need to grab out really quick, such as glass wipes, things like that. Things I have in there right now are glass wipes and things like charge cords, wireless headset, just things I might need. I always put a tag on mine with my name and address in case I misplace it, and I hope to get it back at all. Okay. Now then, the things that were in this pocket here are these. These are earplugs because I go riding in my side-by-side and I like plugging up my ears, so I keep a supply on hand. Not really needed. An ink pen, anti-diarrheals, I believe. Anti-diarrheals are a very good thing to have. You don't want to get dehydrated. If you're in a bad situation, you don't want to be compromised by having stomach issues. So I highly recommend those. These are IOSAT pills for if there's a nuclear issue. So I suggest getting some of them. It's not a bad thing to have. Here's a glass screw repair kit. If you wear glasses, I highly recommend it. Comes with some screws in it and such. And here is a little Eldris knife. I really like them. It's a good little knife to have with you. I carry a lot of different lengths of paracord. It's a good thing to have because you can do all kinds of things with paracord. You can really not have too much of it. And of course, more paracord. And for your teeth, ignore some of these things. They're just wipes and all. I only have a $5 bill in here right now, but actually I usually carry about 20. Probably 50 would be better. And a couple of extra AA batteries. Actually, these are going to be swapped out for rechargeables here soon. And all of this goes in that packet right there. Okay, we're going to look at what goes in this pocket here. We'll cover back here in a minute. What I carry there, a decent wire saw can be worth its weight in gold. This is just a mint tin or plastic container that I keep it curled up in and locked away, because if the thing gets out, it could start sawing up all kinds of things that'll get destroyed. You don't want that. Here are the rechargeable batteries that I was talking about. A good headlamp. You can get them at Lowe's or Walmart or Home Depot for like 20 bucks. They work really super good, and they're a lot cheaper than the Black Diamond ones and Petzls that you could buy at REI. Not as high quality, but frankly, this one outlasted my friend's Petzl that cost him 70 bucks. So, you tell me. And toothpaste, I have a toothbrush too. More paracord. Orange, it's not a bad idea. I have a lot of glass cleaners too. That's not a bad thing to have, considering. Okay. Charging cord for my Android device. Good thing to have. And also, you'll see I have a battery I plug that into. Okay. Just your standard bandage, made in Israel. The way I look at it, those people have a lot of experience in trauma medicine. They ought to know what they're doing. Speaking of which, a small Israel bandage. I wouldn't go anywhere without it. Worth its weight in gold when you need it. And this is the Gobspark fire starter that you can get from firesteel.com. I have several of these. I would always get it with the striker portion. I have it in orange because, frankly, I've lost things on the forest floor at night. Having visibility of such things is a really good idea because you need to be able to find them. The thing I like about this also is the fact that the handle is so big. If you need to build a fire, chances are you're cold. Chances are your motor control and dexterity has gone to pot. So you want something big and chunky that you can hold on to while you're shivering and wet. Okay, all that stuff's packed back in there. In the pencil pocket, these are insect repellent wipes. Believe me, you want to have some of those. Always keep a couple of Bic lighters along with you. I've got several. Here's one in here. And of course, writing instruments are a good thing to have. Now, in this back pocket here is what I have here. More insect repellent. Here's some more anti-diarrheal. Again, I can't emphasize that enough. Some people kind of think it's funny to talk about it, but frankly, this last year, I had a major heart attack because I got so sick. I couldn't hold water or take it in, and it turned my blood into log cabin syrup. And unfortunately, I had a pretty bad heart attack. Anyway, if I had these, who knows? It may have made a difference. I don't know. It's a long story, and it had nothing to do with what the contents of my bag are, but it's something to consider. Okay, more insect repellent, the spray type. A sewing kit. I got this thing, I think, on Amazon or eBay. I think it was eBay. Anyway, it comes with buttons, needles, thread, scissors, in a little zip pouch. It only cost me a few dollars. I highly recommend getting a sewing kit. You really need to have one. They don't weigh much, they don't take up much room, and you could really use it if things start going to pot to repair gear. Oddly enough, 2-part epoxy JB Quick. I cut down the package to make it fit a little easier. For repairs on the run. The stuff cures pretty quick, and I've never had it fail on me. So you could get a blister pack like this. Don't open it, just throw it in there. It'll last for years. And believe me, when you need to repair something mechanical that's gone to pot on you, it's very valuable to have. And of course, another glass repair kit. I got a couple of those in there. Okay, things that go in the main compartment. Let's see, those are all empty. I could put a towel down here to kind of cushion it. There's no cushioning in the bottom. With all the things I've got here loaded in there, I still got half that compartment open for things like jackets and shirts and such like that. Okay. Gloves. Shouldn't have to explain why. But you really should have some with you. I only have one in here right now, but a couple plastic bags. There's a freezer bag with some paracord in it, not a bad idea. And of course a wall wart for the charger if you need it. Some of these wipes, baby wipes, good thing to have. Toilet tissue, definitely. Okay, there's that solar charger battery. I think it's 10,000 milliamp. It'll charge my cell phone several times. It also has a little light on the back. That's what this is. Works pretty good. It does have a solar panel, but frankly, you would have to leave it out in the sun for about 3 days to bring it back up to charge again. Probably better than nothing, but I don't know, it could probably use a little bit more improvement on that. It's taken a bit of a beating, and it always has worked well. So I know there's a lot of different manufacturers out there. And honestly, they all probably come out of the same factory in China. So take that as you will. In this, there's more paracord. A folding umbrella. I could tell you that keeping the rain off when it's cold is a big thing. If you're worried about looking stupid carrying an umbrella, don't. Frankly, you'll be the dry one and a lot less miserable. Also, if the sun is beating down on you when it is like where we live in the area of the Sonoran Desert, you can keep the sun off, and let me tell you, that's huge. These 3 cases here I'll take individually and show you what's in them. Okay, this is my fire making bag. Another lighter. This stuff is that cheap hemp crap you can buy at Home Depot or Lowe's. It's just that cheap rope that they have, but let me tell you, it makes excellent tinder. And it's, you get 100 feet for next to nothing, really. Okay. I don't know how I ended up with 2 fire strikers, but this one has a magnesium rod on it. And I always put things like that on orange tape, so again, I can find them at night. Again, when you're cold, under stress, and it's getting dark, and you want to light a fire, you want to be able to find this stuff in low light condition. And these flat things here are actually cotton balls impregnated with petroleum jelly. I call them fireballs. They're flattened out right now, but you take them out of there, you kind of tease them apart and light them with the lighter or even the striker there in the ferrocium rod, and they'll start burning. And they'll burn like a candle, and you can take wet wood, a little bit of it, use it to dry it out and get it started so you can get a bigger fire going. I've reused the same fireball 3 times on hiking trips. You just use it to get your fire started, and then you kind of take a stick and knock it out of there and snuff it out and put it back in the bag after it cools. Probably one of the most effective fire starters that you can make yourself for next to nothing. I mean, what does a small tube of petroleum jelly and some cotton balls cost? Or you could buy expensive versions of them with the same thing at REI. Okay. These are called lifeboat matches, or stormproof matches. As you can see, the brown part is a striker head. They give you several striker backs here. And the orange portion there burns like a fuse. You can try and blow these out. They won't blow out. I've taken them and struck them, got them going, held them underwater and swished them around vigorously. buried them in the mud, pulled them out, they burst back in the flame again. Very good thing to have because they'll burn where nothing else will. I usually have a couple of boxes of these things on me. And that's the fire kit. Now, one thing I'll note here is that I have one Blackhawk bag and two Maxpedition ones. Blackhawk doesn't have any gussets around it. It's flat. Whereas with Maxpedition, they sewed in areas that allow it to expand much better. Blackhawk, no bad reflection on them, but it just seems flimsier. I don't like it. Whereas Maxpedition, I have a lot of Maxpedition products, and I have beat the living crap out of them, and they just keep coming back. If I had grandkids, I could probably put it in my will to them. Anyway, moving on. Now, as a medic, they had little bags of stuff. They called it an owie bag, and that's what this is. Half the things are missing in this thing. I have to go through it. And that's another point. You want to go through all your gear once a year at least to make sure everything is fresh, not leaking, and will function when needed. So, of course, moleskin, small bandages, antimicrobial wipes, neosporin, tape. What I normally would have in here also is either burn cream or a small burn sheet, and Celox. I may still have it in here somewhere. I'm just not sure. But a couple of packets of Celox. Thought they were in here. I think I used them. I can't recommend Celox enough when you're bleeding profusely. Especially if you're on blood thinners or something. You need to be able to stop that blood flow. So when you custom make your get out of Dodge bag and you do your medical, take a lot of advice from YouTube videos and Cody Lundin's books, but ultimately you got to tailor make it to yourself. Okay, this is just the kind of the catch-all bag. You'll notice that in all of them with the mesh pockets I put gloves. You want to keep a number of nitrile gloves on you. And of course there's batteries all over the place. This little thing in here, what this is dental floss. You can get a little spool. I think it's like 30 yards or something like that. You can do everything with that stuff. It is super strong. Besides flossing your teeth, you could tie things up if you needed to. You can probably even suture a massive wound closed with it, although I wouldn't recommend it. But stuff is super strong and it's super cheap. And you could put a lot of it in a small area. Okay. So, mechanical pencil, felt tip marker, and this is a porcelain sharpening rod. Okay. Good for the knives and things you'll have with you. And it's just a little light that needs a new battery. More paracord, little pocket knife here. This is a compass. Okay. I just don't want to take it out. There's too much of a pain to get back in. Found my Celox. It was in here, although I need about 3 more packets. Some Band-Aids. Needles are a good thing to always have. You know what these are. This is a surgical scalpel blade. I have several of them. It's a good little blade to have. I don't know why, but I've actually used this little ruler a number of times. It's not a bad thing to have. Antihistamines, need more of them. And here, more Band-Aids, tweezers, excuse me, I didn't mean to do that. Safety pins, things like that. Again, tailor make it to your own specs, but little things like that could really mean a big difference in a grid down situation, or just get home, or just whatever. So you really want to take special care to get exactly what you want. And you can't overload your bag, but frankly, really think about it. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Okay, lastly, but certainly not least, my little shortwave radio. I bought this little radio when I was working search and rescue as a medic for the sheriff's department. I have actually used it to save my own skin a couple of times. And we're talking life and death here. This little radio is a 5-watt handheld made by Yaesu. It's an FT60R, and I put a dummy antenna on it in case it gets turned on and transmit. I didn't want to blow the finals. And here's a high gain antenna made by Diamond that screws on the top. Normally when I'm out in the hills, way out in the outback, I use a no-tax type antenna that you can throw up in the tree. It has a very good it's very high gain. It works very good. And that's what all the paracord's for too. You can tie a rock on the end of the paracord, sling it up in the tree, then pull the antenna up. And I've been able to get in over mountain ranges into repeaters to be able to call for rescue. It is an extremely well-made radio. I think right now they're going for about less than $200. I'm not sure. But you can buy the cheapo Chinese ones, of course. But frankly, I wouldn't stake my life on it. This thing is very rugged. They're very, very popular for that reason. Now, if you don't have a ham license, it doesn't matter, because if you are in a dire emergency legally, you can break in on any frequency and ask for help. This particular one will only transmit on the 70 centimeter and the 2 meter band. Admittedly, the Chinese ones will transmit much wider than that, but for standard ham use, that's very illegal to do if you were to do so. So I would promote the idea of becoming a ham radio operator. I am in extra class, which is the highest you can go. My wife is a general, which means we have a couple of HF rigs that we could talk around the world on. And it's really not hard to get the lowest one, which is called a technician license, and that'll allow you to use some of the high frequency band, and definitely 2 meter and 70 centimeter. Again, if I didn't have this radio, life would have had many different outcomes for me. And there you have it. That's my Get Out of Dodge bag. I appreciate you watching this video if you got this far. I'm certainly not a natural when it comes to making videos, so I know it's probably like watching paint dry, but I hope it's of some use to you. And if you have any questions, please email me at kf7rcm@yahoo.com, and I'll do my best to answer anything or explain it. Thank you for watching.